Have you ever wondered if someone's garden could hide disturbing secrets to the point of completely changing your perception of who lives there? Imagine being invited to a delicious lunch at an elderly person's house, but upon arriving, something in the garden sends shivers down your spine, a premonition that perhaps you should turn back. Brace yourself, because today we're going to unveil 7 chilling signs in a garden that, if you see them, will make you reconsider any lunch invitation to an elderly person's house. Stay with us until the end to discover what these signs really mean and why they are such a serious warning. If this topic has already intrigued you, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next scarily revealing videos. We want to know your opinion. Have you ever come across any of these signs in a garden? Share your experiences and observations in the comments below. Your story could be crucial to alerting others. Now, let's dive into the first indications that something is very wrong. Chapter 1. Dead plants and broken pots at the entrance. The first impression is always the lasting one, and a garden with dead plants right at the entrance conveys a strong sense of neglect and abandonment. This isn't just a fleeting oversight. The dry, lifeless plants suggest a persistent problem, a lack of care that has extended over a considerable period. This depressing image can be a reflection of the resident's emotional or physical state, indicating a difficulty in keeping things in order. Broken pots, scattered around the entrance, complement this desolate scene. The shards of ceramic or plastic are not only unsightly and dangerous, posing a risk of cuts and trips, but also symbolize something that was broken and not repaired. This lack of action to fix what is damaged can be an indication of a mindset of giving up or an inability to deal with basic maintenance tasks. The combination of dead plants and broken pots creates an atmosphere of decay and carelessness right at the threshold of the property. It's as if the garden is screaming for attention, begging for someone who cares. This visible neglect may just be the tip of the iceberg, an outward sign of much deeper problems that may be occurring inside the house. Imagine the scene. You approach the house and are greeted by this somber setting. The natural beauty that a garden should provide is replaced by a vision of death and destruction. This image can generate a feeling of discomfort and even apprehension, raising questions about the living conditions within the residence. Therefore, if an elderly person's garden greets you with dead plants and broken pots right at the entrance, pay attention. This could be the first sign that something is not well, a subtle warning for you to observe the next details with even more caution. After all, the exterior of a house often reflects the interior. Chapter 2. Accumulation of trash and debris in the yard. Delving a little deeper into the garden, the presence of accumulated trash and debris scattered throughout the yard intensifies the feeling of abandonment. This is not about a fallen leaf or branch, but rather a disorganized collection of unused objects, empty packaging, pieces of old wood, and other waste. This disorganization is not only visually unpleasant, but can also indicate a difficulty for the resident in keeping the space clean and habitable. The accumulation of trash can become a focal point for hygiene and health problems. Food scraps can attract pests like rats and cockroaches, while containers with standing water can become breeding grounds for disease-carrying mosquitoes. The presence of these disease vectors in the yard poses a risk not only to the resident, but also to any visitor who approaches. In addition to health problems, accumulated debris can be an indicator of emotional or cognitive difficulties of the elderly person. The inability to discard unnecessary objects may be linked to issues such as Diogenes syndrome, compulsive hoarding, or simply a physical or mental difficulty in performing cleaning and organizing tasks. The sight of a yard full of trash and debris contrasts sharply with the ideal image of a garden as a space for relaxation and well-being. Instead of well-maintained flowers and plants, what is seen is a chaotic mess that suggests neglect and lack of care for the environment. This dissonance can generate strong discomfort and a feeling that something is deeply wrong. Therefore, if, when exploring the elderly person's garden, you come across a significant accumulation of trash and debris, consider this an important warning sign. This disorder can be a reflection of more serious problems affecting the residents' ability to take care of themselves and their environment, raising serious concerns about the living conditions inside the house. Chapter 3. High grass and full of weeds. A tall lawn completely overgrown with weeds is a strong indication of continuous and prolonged neglect. This isn't just a delayed lawn mowing. The abundant presence of invasive weeds suggests that basic garden care has been abandoned for a long time. This scenario can be a sign that the resident no longer has the physical capacity or motivation to maintain the outdoor environment. In addition to the unkempt appearance, an excessively tall lawn infested with weeds creates an environment conducive to the proliferation of insects and small animals. Rats, snakes, and other unwanted creatures can find shelter and food in this thicket, transforming what should be a pleasant space into an uncontrolled and potentially dangerous ecosystem. The prolific presence of weeds can also indicate a lack of resources or assistance for the elderly person. The removal of these invasive plants requires time, effort, and in some cases, the use of specific tools or the hiring of gardening services. If the lawn is in this state, it is possible that the resident is isolated or does not have access to the necessary help. The sight of a garden where wild nature has taken over, with the lawn growing disorderly and weeds suffocating any beauty, is deeply disturbing. It contradicts the idea of a welcoming and cared-for home, raising serious questions about the well-being of the elderly person residing there. This scenario conveys a sense of abandonment and helplessness. Therefore, if you come across a tall lawn dominated by weeds in an elderly person's garden, consider it a crucial sign. It is a warning that the resident may be facing significant difficulties in maintaining even the most basic aspects of their residence, suggesting deeper problems that go beyond the exterior of the house. Chapter 4. Infestation of mosquitoes and other insects. The presence of a notorious infestation of mosquitoes and other flying insects in the garden is a serious and immediate health alert. This is not one or two insects, but rather clouds of mosquitoes, flies, and other small flyers that indicate an environment conducive to their uncontrolled proliferation. This exorbitant quantity is a clear sign of standing water foci, or accumulation of decomposing organic matter. Mosquitoes, in particular, are known vectors of serious diseases such as dengue, Zika, chikungunya, and yellow fever. If the garden is infested, the risk of contamination is not limited to the outdoor space, but can easily extend into the house, putting the health of the elderly person and any visitor in imminent danger. This situation is a very serious neglect of public health. In addition to mosquitoes, the presence of a large number of flies can indicate the existence of exposed organic waste, uncollected animal feces, or even the presence of dead animals. These insects are attracted to decaying matter and can carry bacteria and other pathogens, contaminating food and surfaces, making the environment unsanitary. The constant buzzing of mosquitoes and the feeling of being bitten all the time make the experience in the garden extremely unpleasant and unsustainable. No one can enjoy a lunch or a simple conversation in an environment overrun by insects. This constant disturbance is an indication that the area is being completely neglected in terms of basic sanitation. Therefore, if the elderly person's garden is dominated by an infestation of mosquitoes and other insects, consider this a red flag. It indicates serious hygiene and sanitation problems on site, which directly affect the health and well-being of the resident and anyone else present. This is a situation that requires immediate attention and, often, intervention. Chapter 5. Dirty and ruined garden furniture. Garden furniture that is dirty, faded, and in a state of ruin tells a story of abandonment and disuse. This is not just superficial dirt, but rather an accumulation of dust, slime, spiderwebs, and discoloration caused by prolonged exposure to the elements. Broken chairs, tables with loose tops, and torn lounge chairs signal that the space is neither used nor cared for. The deterioration of this furniture is an indication that the elderly person, or whoever is responsible for the place, no longer has the capacity or interest in maintaining the garden as a functional and inviting space. This can be a reflection of physical difficulties that prevent use or maintenance, or even a symptom of social isolation, where there are no guests to enjoy the environment. Ruined furniture also represents a physical danger. Unstable chairs can collapse, tables with sharp edges can cause cuts, and loose parts can cause trips. The presence of these dangerous items in a place that should be for leisure and rest is a clear sign of negligence regarding safety, both for the resident and for any visitor. The image of a space that was once intended for relaxation and conviviality, now taken over by decrepit furniture, is melancholic. It suggests a loss of vitality and joy in the elderly person's life, or an inability to enjoy outdoor moments. It's as if the garden itself is reflecting fatigue and forgetfulness. Therefore, if you notice dirty and ruined garden furniture, take it into consideration. This scenario goes beyond aesthetics, pointing to a possible lack of care for well-being and safety, in addition to being a sad indicator of the elderly person's living conditions and routine. It is a sign that something is not right with the maintenance and use of the home. Chapter 6. Smell of sewage or stagnant water puddles. A persistent and nauseating smell of sewage or the visible presence of stagnant water pooling in the garden are alarming and undeniable signs of serious sanitation problems. This is not a fleeting natural odor. The smell of sewage indicates leaks or blockages in the pipes, while pooling water suggests inadequate drainage and accumulation of contaminated liquids. Both scenarios pose a direct threat to health. Standing water, even in small amounts, is a perfect breeding ground for disease-carrying mosquitoes, such as dengue and chikungunya, as discussed in Chapter 4. However, the presence of a sewage smell elevates the risk to another level, indicating the possible proliferation of bacteria, viruses, and other pathogens that can cause gastrointestinal infections and other serious illnesses. It is an environment conducive to contamination. This type of problem suggests a critical failure in the house's infrastructure or in the elderly person's ability to manage basic maintenance issues. Sewage leaks can be complex and expensive to fix, requiring professional intervention. If the problem persists, it may be that the elderly person does not have the means or knowledge to resolve the situation, or that they are in a situation of abandonment and lack of support. The experience of being confronted with such an unpleasant smell and the sight of stagnant water is deeply repulsive. This makes any stay in the garden unbearable and immediately raises serious doubts about the hygiene conditions within the residence itself. The inability to enjoy the space due to these basic problems is a strong indicator of neglect. Therefore, if the garden has a sewage smell or standing water puddles, consider this one of the most critical signs. It is a maximum alert that the health and sanitation of the place are compromised, and this situation requires immediate attention. Eating in a house with these surrounding conditions would be risking one's own health. Chapter 7. Pet with scattered feces, uncleaned. The presence of pet feces scattered throughout the garden, with no signs of cleaning or collection, is an explicit indication of neglect and lack of hygiene. This is not an isolated incident, but rather an accumulation that demonstrates a constant and worrying disregard on the part of the animal's owner and the household. This scenario suggests that the elderly person is not able or does not have the conditions to adequately care for their pet. In addition to the repulsive visual aspect, animal feces are sources of numerous bacteria, parasites, and viruses that can cause diseases in humans. Salmonella, E. coli, roundworms, and giardiasis are just a few examples of pathogens that can be transmitted through contact with these feces, contaminating the soil and, consequently, anyone who walks or handles something in the garden. The lack of cleaning also reflects a lack of care for the animal itself. A pet living in such a dirty and unsanitary environment, with its own feces around, is likely suffering from neglect and mistreatment. This raises serious concerns about the animal's health and well-being, which may be living in deplorable conditions. The foul smell emanating from the accumulated feces in the garden makes the environment unbearable and uninhabitable. This odor is a strong repellent for any visitor and is a clear sign that the basic hygiene of the place is completely compromised. The inability to deal with such a fundamental problem as cleaning animal feces is a red flag about the overall situation of the house. Therefore, if you come across scattered and uncleaned animal feces in an elderly person's garden, consider this one of the most compelling signs that something is seriously wrong. It is evidence of neglect, unsanitary conditions, and a blatant disregard for living conditions, both for the elderly person and the animal. This is an environment in which having lunch would be unthinkable given the imminent health problems. Conclusion. Throughout this video, we've seen that a person's garden can be a true mirror of their reality. The 7 signs we've unveiled, from dead plants and broken pots to accumulated trash, tall grass, insect infestations, ruined furniture, sewage smells, and uncleaned animal feces, are much more than mere aesthetic oversights. They are silent alarms, indicating that the elderly person may be facing serious difficulties with their health, well-being, autonomy, or even in situations of abandonment. Remember, what's on the outside can be a worrying reflection of what's going on inside. We hope this video has alerted you to the importance of observing the details around you. If you learned something new or were impacted by these signs, please like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more important content like this. We'd love to know, which of these signs did you find most concerning or surprising? Share your opinion in the comments below and help spread this valuable information.